order to ensure that all the speakers and presentations can be heard, please keep your microphones on mute throughout the session. Throughout the session, please use the chat function to ask any questions, and we encourage you to write your questions at any point in the chat function throughout the session, and we'll cover as many of these questions as possible. So the spirit of tonight's session is that everybody's views are important, and feel free to say what you think. There's no right or wrong answers, and build on the other's ideas. So before I introduce the other speakers and run through the session aims and views and outcomes, I would like to play a short video providing details about our society that I hope that you find useful. Okay, so I'd like to introduce our guest speakers this evening. And my first guest speaker is Nikki Walden. Nikki Walden is the Premier Food Buyer for Best of Our Counties and has worked for Mid-Counties for 3 years. Our second guest speaker, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome, is Tom Hughes, the founder of Tubby Tom's. Tom is a Best of Our County supplier from Gloucester who has an absolute passion for food, and that creates the most amazing hot sauces, barbecue sauces and seasonings. And I'd like to thank Tom and Nikki for taking time to talk to us tonight. So the agenda for this evening is the welcome and introductions. What is Best of Our Counties? Why it's important to support local business. And then we'll get to meet our local supplier, Tom Hughes. And then we'll talk about how partnering with Mid-Counties has helped Tom to develop and evolve his business. And then we'll have a questions and answer session. So please feel free to put questions in the chat box or wait till after Tom's interview and we can ask questions then in the chat box or by raising your hand. So Nikki, over to you.
Hello, well, good evening, everybody, and you'll be delighted to know that I'm not going to do a lot of talking because it really and truly is all about Tom tonight, and it's about sharing his journey, especially as he's literally just down the road from me in Gloucester. Yes, as buyer for Best of Our Counties team, I've been working in the local food business sector in the southwest of England now for almost 13 years. I've had the privilege of working with literally hundreds of inspirational people like Tom around the region, working with them. They are literally, through their resilience, their determination and their passion, they are doing what they love and they love what they do. And there really is no greater example than Tom here tonight. So Tom, you know, I'm building you up here very, very bigly, very, very big. With regards to Best of Our Counties, I mean, you touched on it in the intro, Marnie. That's what we do. If you wouldn't mind moving on to the next slide, James, we do. We're sourcing the best local food from the counties in our trading region. This is our team here, small team, and we are hunters and gatherers. We're out there seeking the best producers and growers in the region and telling their stories, supporting them the way we go. And you can see Tom there, and we've got Greg from Stroud Brewery. We work with almost 300 local suppliers. Best of Our Counties is the brand within the Mid-Counties Co-operative Food Group, which is responsible for seeking out these producers. It's all about celebrating the local food and drink available in our communities and telling their stories. And then that helps the growth and the development by bringing it to the stores. Each store's range is specific to the local area, and its products are sourced from within the store's home or neighbouring counties. And in a nutshell, that is it. So over to you, Tom. And before Marnie embarks on the questions, and I'm going to ask you just a few first of all, because it's a great privilege for me to interview you, because as I said, you know, I'm in Gloucester. You went to the same school as my eldest son and my eldest daughter, and in fact my future son-in-law. The great school, Tommy's, isn't it?
Yeah, big up
Yeah.
Tommy's.
Yeah, and you really bucked the trend there, didn't you? Because it's a great school with great history, very academic, and you chose to take a very, very different path.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very academic school. It's great grammar school. Loved it, and you know, my brother went there, my dad went there. You know, lots of cool people. But it's a very academic kind of situation, and although I had a good time and stuff, you know, it's you know, all the creative side and stuff that has really shaped my future since then. And you know, I went to uni and stuff like that as well. But the path that I'm on now is very different to the path that I thought I'd be on when I was studying and getting my exams out of the way and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, our paths first crossed back in 2014 when I met you at Gloucester Services, and that's where you'd begun your journey. So, do you want to share a little bit about your brand so that everybody can see what your products are?
Yeah. I mean, so we make small batch artisan sauces, condiments and seasonings and things. We make hot sauces, barbecue sauces, everything that's really tasty. And you know, a lot of our products have like a chili twist to them. We love a bit of heat, so that's what we're about. And we make everything in our kitchen here. And yeah, we've been doing it for a while now. So yeah, it was a long time ago since I met you, Nikki, at Gloucester Services. It feels like a lifetime ago now.
Yeah, it does. You're definitely making me feel old now, Tom. Definitely.
No.
This is one of our favourites. So tell us about how it all began, because you started work after uni with one of the other local producers.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, all throughout sort of sixth form and stuff, and ever since I was 16, I used to work for a local company to us called Over Farm Market, and it's a great farm shop, and that stocks loads of artisan producers. Those are local companies, and so that was really the start of my journey into like the kind of artisan food world and small business and stuff, and it was great. And while I was there, you know, it is one of those things that we knew some growers and things, and we knew a guy that was growing tomatoes, a guy called John, and he gave me a load of tomatoes to mess about with because he sold all that he needed to sell. And I took him back home, and I used to love barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce was my thing, because I used to buy really rubbish food and then just like smother it in barbecue. So when I had all these tomatoes, I was like, well, let's try making our own sauce at home and see what it turns out like. So we did that, and yeah, it turned out all right. And I took it down to Over Farm where I worked on the weekend. And by this time, I think it was when I was at university as well, because I went to uni at Hartbury, which is again just down the road from us. And on the weekends, I worked for Over Farm. And yeah, I put it in there on the weekend and it started selling. And then ever since then, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, because I never really set out to have it as a business, but where I was cheeky and like slid it onto the shelves of the farm shop and it started selling. It was kind of, you know, friends and family would say, yeah, you should definitely try selling this thing. Yeah, you should definitely do this. And so that's how we came up with like Tubby Tom's, because we're thinking, well, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just so crazy that I would make a sauce at home and then try and sell it and even try and brand it. And then, so yeah, it was going to be called Tubby Tom's as a joke. And then I put my face on the front of it, which was again, a bit of a joke, tongue in cheek kind of thing. And I remember at the time people were saying, you don't want to call it Tubby Tom's because everyone wants like, no one wants unhealthy food. Everyone wants like slim and kind of food, or like, don't put your face on it because of this, that, and the other. They thought it should be a bit more corporate. And I'm glad we never changed it, because it was always kind of had that like tongue-in-cheek thing. And yeah, it's gone crazy ever since then. I think that after that, I was pursuing a career in Cardiff, trying to become a chef, and I'd done some catering stuff and bits and bobs. But to get back to Gloucester, I took a job at Kitchen Garden, which is an amazing preserves company based in Stroud. And I think it was there that I met you, Nikki, because I was doing a tasting session for their jams and chutneys at Gloucester Services. And that was before I had got the stuff in there or anything, I think. And yeah, it's weird how like the world works and like how everything's happened since then. But yeah. I'm sorry, I'm like just rambling on about my life.
Not at all, Tom. No. I'd get the prize for rambling. Don't you worry. Before I hand over to Marnie, I mean, you've mentioned there obviously the Kitchen Garden, and
Yes.
we're hugely proud of the family of suppliers that we have with mid-counties, and you do all literally work together. And if I remember correctly, you used to work on the weekends, and they used to allow you to use their preserving kitchen and the children's. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So I would work all week at Kitchen Garden, and then I would either be at a farmer's market on both days on the weekend, or if I wasn't at a farmer's market, I'd be renting their kitchen off them, and they were very generous to let me do so because they have state-of-the-art kit down there. Really, really cool jam factory, we call it. But the idea is we could make big batches, and because I worked there, I was used to using the machines and used to keeping the kitchen how it's supposed to be. So it was a really, really good insight into it, and I'll always be grateful for them because they really helped me out at the time with because the thing is, I had the idea, I was doing what I was doing, I was selling bits and bobs here and there, and it was a business, but it was definitely not I never thought I would have a job out of it. So they were really helpful in just like pushing me and giving me the and she was always great about our products. And she was just a legend anyway. She was so great. But yeah, I'll always be thankful to those guys for that.
And your introduction. Oh, sorry, Marnie, you go.
That's okay. Carry on.
And your introduction to mid-counties was actually via one of the local suppliers as well, which is by Hillside Brewery.
Yeah. Another legend, yeah. The world is full of legends. So yeah, Paul was picking some stuff up from me because I think they were cooking a bit of food on site for their guests and stuff, and they're using some of our sauce. Anyway, he came down and mentioned mid-counties to me and said, "Oh, you supplying these guys yet?" And I was like, "No, how would I be supplied like mid-counties co-op? Like we're just like making sauce and stuff. We're doing our thing." I just never thought that it would be entertained, the idea of stocking our stuff, because it's so. I mean, at the time as well, it was so artisan, and we were selling like a fair bit of stuff, but you just never think that it's going to happen. And so he made the introduction with Georgia, and I think Georgia then said, as soon as I saw the email, I was just like, oh my God, we're going to have to like make sure everything looks like perfect. And like, it was so nerve wracking. And then like, obviously when I met Georgia, she's a legend as well. So she was just really nice. And it's just been an amazing thing that we're very proud of. Yeah, it's a cool thing.
She is a legend. I think she's on the call as well here, so she'll have heard that. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Marnie, over to you.
Sure. Okay. And thanks, Tom. So have you always had a passion for food? Tell me about your growing up. What was that like?
I've always been chubby, and I've always loved food, and I've loved like farmers markets and stuff though. So it's not just like greedy stuff. I just have a thing for artisan food and good quality stuff and local stuff and things that are made with passion. And I remember watching Hugh Fernie Whittingstall on TV when I was growing up, and I used to have some of his books and things. Even before I cook, I just used to enjoy reading about the stuff, and he was always talking about local produce, farmers markets and stuff. I remember begging my parents to take me to farmers markets and things when I was growing up. And I've always enjoyed it. I've loved I think it's the passion behind it, because it's not just necessarily the taste of the food, it's the whole story behind what it is that you're eating and where it's come from and why it's there. And it's like, it's just so cool. And there's like a feeling that you get from food. Like you can eat something, it can just like transport you to the place in your mind or a memory or like these kind of things. And it's just like, I nerd out about it a lot. And yeah, I've always been into food. I never ever thought that it would be my career though. But I'm so glad that it's turned out this way, because it's really like living the dream for me, because we supply amazing places like mid-counties that support loads of really cool independent artisan producers, and that's where you find all the best stuff, and it's like, it's just so worth it. And I love that world. We supply street food places, we supply farm shops, butchers, places that are doing things the right way. It's not mass produced, it's all really cool stuff, and that's the world that I live in now. It's, I'm in my own bubble of like cool food and just, yeah, and like-minded people that want to buy into that ethos. And I think it's great, because I just surrounded myself with people that are on the same kind of like vibe. And I think it's nice, isn't it, when you find something that you're so into, and then other people that are kind of like, into it too.
Absolutely. We've got a question coming, Tom, from Phil Ponsonby, and he said he's bought a tub of your King Cajun in Morecambe-on-the-Marsh on Saturday, and he's looking forward to trying it. Any suggestions?
Yeah, great. Yeah, King Cajun is great. So that was one of the first of like the newer seasonings that we brought out, and that's sort of like, it's half a seasoning and half a glaze, because it's a very fine powder, but it's very, very tasty. It's kind of like a taste of the deep south, and heavy on the cumin and smoked paprika. The idea with King Cajun, though, is you can use it for a few different things. You can use it as a chip duster, so you can cook your chips, your wedges, anything like that at home. If you fry them, cool, even better. You can active fry it because it can burn. But when you got your nice crispy potato wedges, your sweet potato fries, bring them out of the oven. They're crunchy, crispy, and a little bit oily. That's when you sprinkle all that King Cajun on, toss it about, and it's absolutely delicious. It's also amazing on salmon. If you just get a piece of salmon, dust it, maybe do it in the morning, leave it in the fridge. When you come back from work, just cook it in the oven with foil over the top. Just let it cook slowly. It's absolutely delicious then. It's also amazing with chicken. You can just chuck it on chicken thighs. I like the boneless, skinless stuff because it's easy. And then just chuck it all over, let it marinate all day, then slow cook it in the oven. And it's just, it's amazing. You can shred it. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And where do you find your inspiration for your recipes, Tom?
It's the ingredients. The ingredients, it's cool because like the first sauce, as I was saying, the first sauce we made, being we made sweet barbecue. I made all those years ago. It was because of the tomatoes I was given, and the guy John, he gave me a couple of chilies and he gave me like a couple of peppers too. So it was from those ingredients that I was like, okay, cool. What can we make with this? And it turned out to be the barbecue sauce. Mm-hmm. Now, as we learn more about food and the world is so open now, you can get hold of any ingredients these days, which I think that's the best bit because, you know, it's a way that we will process an ingredient, makes us really want to do that thing. So we toast a lot of the spices. So we buy whole spices, toast them. It's quite laborious, but the flavor is amazing. We toast them, we grind them ourselves, and we mix them, and it's finding like that one amazing flavor. And you're like, right, how can I use this for this, or how can I use this for this? So that's the inspiration. The other inspiration, I suppose, is just good food, because you see a lot on TV, don't you? And you read a lot of cookbooks, and like you're inspired by all of these cool things where people have gone away on holiday or they've gone to discover the culture of somewhere else, and and it's so inspiring. Like without even going there, you're just like, oh, I really want to eat that Mexican style food, but we're gonna have to try and make it home because we're not going to Mexico this year. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So do you know what I mean? And it's that kind of thing. The ingredients. One of the main things that we make, as I was saying earlier, was the hot sauces. So with the hot sauces, it's the chili that leads the way, because chilies have so many different flavors and heat intensities, and all of that stuff changes throughout the year depending on what time you harvest a crop. So there's so many different varieties and variations, I should say, of flavor. And that's how, like, you then start pairing it a lot of the times with fruit, or a lot of the times with different vinegars and sweetnesses and sourness. And it's really, really cool. So it's just kind of like, it's just playing around. You just like playing around with all these things, and it leads you on to the next thing. Oh, that sauce would be nice with smoked cumin, or that sauce would be nice with a richer smoked paprika, or whatever it's going to be. It's always the ingredients that lead it, I think.
So how do you promote your products? How do you, I know they're in our stores, but, events and stuff, we're post-COVID. How would you go about that? Where do you go? Festivals, is it?
Yeah, so we have, ever since like the start, I remember applying for Stroud Farmers Market, which, if you haven't been, is an amazing farmers market. I think it was voted one of the best in the country. And it's been going, I think, throughout a fair bit of lockdown, but it's just starting to get busier again. And the markets are an amazing thing. You don't always make loads of money on selling at farmers markets, or you don't, at food shows and stuff, but people remember you and they follow you up afterwards. So it's kind of more of a marketing thing. So we marketed heavily by doing markets. Mm-hmm. But the other side to it, which has always worked in our favor, is I live my life on Instagram and social media, as a lot of people do these days. You're addicted to your phones and stuff. It used to be 5 or 6 years ago, you could promote your business for free. And it was amazing because I could post everything I wanted to about my source, what we're doing, and people didn't have to look at our stuff. If they saw it and were enticed by it, they'd follow it, and, so on and so on. It's not like active fishing. It's more like, marketing yourself online. And we now find that the biggest direction to our website is through Instagram, which is nuts, because I've not spent very much money on my Instagram marketing at all. I just do it a lot, and we've got a really good customer base on there that are kind of waiting for it. That and Facebook groups. We did a Facebook group called Tubby's Food Gang, or something like that, Tubby Tom's Food Gang, and people can take a picture of what they've made with your food, with your seasonings and sauces and stuff, and then upload it to this food group, and people will comment on it, and I ask questions in it, and it's a captive kind of group there of, again, like-minded people that are just like, that are into what we do, and just want to like show off how they're using it. So I think online is like a massive thing, but it used to be way heavier on the markets, obviously, before COVID.
Fantastic. We've had a question from Georgia, and she said, you have such a passion for cooking that our customers would love. When restrictions have been lifted, would you ever do a cook-up in one of our food stores?
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to do that. So the funny thing is when I first started Tubby's, I was doing catering. So I'd made the sauce, and then I started doing a bit of catering after that, and put the sauce to the side. And we catered for a few festivals, and I did barbecue chicken and chips, and it was great. And I just roped in all my friends and family to come and help me, and we just did food. I love cooking food, and one of the ideas was that we always wanted to get the food truck or do that kind of thing. But just the way it's gone is that the sauces have just completely taken over everything, which I'm definitely not complaining about. But it's meant that actual cooking of stuff is like been put behind. But I would still love to come to the Co-op and do that. Do you know what? One of the best markets I ever did was when I went to the Co-op Christmas party. It's not a Christmas party. It's like a Christmas market. So if it was anywhere as popular as then, it would be so good to do it, because I went to the headquarters, I think, in Warwick, and I was selling my sauces in the little thing, and it was just the busy. I've never seen people like try and buy stuff as quick as they did it on that day. I was like drenched in sweat within like the first minute, because people were like, give me this. And it was like Christmas time. They're like, give me all these things. I was like, oh my God. So if we get that kind of reception from Co-op store, that would be good.
That's fantastic. We've got a question from Simon Hartland, who loves your products. And he said, do you have any new products planned for the future?
Yeah. So that's my problem, is that I'm addicted to bringing new products out, because I'll bring something out and we'll love it and we'll do this and, you know, sell it and it would be great. And then I'm already thinking of the next thing. Oh, we should tweak it with this. We should tweak this. We don't have this, or we should be supplying this because this is popular or whatever. And it never stops. The inspiration just keeps coming in all the time. And I get very excited about making the new stuff. So yeah, I've got so much stuff coming out. What we've done to sort of control it a bit is we've created a thing called Tub Club, which is our subscription service. We had to kind of cap it because it got taken up too quickly, and we got overwhelmed. And the idea is that we're sending new products out every month as a subscription service. That way, the people that really want it never miss out, because when we upload stuff online, it sells out very quickly. And then I get all these messages on Instagram saying, I didn't catch this one. Oh, I really need a bottle of this. And it's like, this is an easier way to just like to do it. But I'll tell you what we are coming out with. We're doing a Carolina mustard, which is loosely based on our Mutang, which is an American style tangy mustard sauce. It's kind of like hot dog mustard. Now the Carolina style barbecue mustard is coming out soon, and that is a smoky version. It's quite sweet. But it's like our favorite thing now. We can't live without it now. But we realize we've actually got to like make it and sell it and keep up with the orders. So I don't know. What else are we coming out with? We've got a new taco seasoning that's coming. I was saying about toasting cumin and stuff. So we toast a lot of cumin, coriander, black pepper, and we mix it all up, and it's really, really tasty. So taco seasoning is coming out soon as well. Loads of stuff. Yeah. Keep an eye out. We're doing it all the time.
We've got some questions coming through. Lizzie has said, you've followed your dreams and been hugely successful. I'm keen to know, what advice would you give to the next generation?
So my advice is to just do it. Not everything always costs that much money, and it doesn't cost that much money to go for it on a if you plan it and you sort it. So when I did my stuff, when I first started Tubbies, I was working a minimum wage full-time job, and I didn't have any money to start the business. What I did was I was just really careful with what I spent, and I bought a few jars. I did a bit of this, bit of that, and sold it, and was really careful with my money. And for the first sort of 3 years, I didn't take any money from the business at all. I just carried on doing my full-time job. And I think that's the way that people should look at it. I think sometimes people look at it as in the wrong way, because you've got to have a passion for the thing first off, so that you really enjoy doing it, and you obviously then create a good product. But if you're doing it so that you can create a job for yourself, it's possibly the wrong reason to do it, unless you've got a killer idea and you kind of sort it anyway, because it's not something that always happens overnight. We've worked solidly. I've done markets on the weekends for however long, every weekend, and worked in the evenings making the sauces. But it's the best way to do it because it's so low risk. You can control it. You don't have to borrow any money. You don't have to sort any stuff out. You just do what you need to do. And then you're testing the market yourself. You can go to the farmer's market, apply for a pitch. It's, nothing. It's like 30 quid or something to have a stall. And just go and do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Like, what? Nothing. It's like, if you lose, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things, because we get asked it a lot, like on Instagram, especially, like, how do you, make a sauce business? How do you do this stuff? And I just think, it's really easy, because you just do what you like. If you do what you like and you enjoy doing it, doesn't seem like a job, so you don't get stressed about it. Don't go in over your head. Just do what's manageable to you and grow, naturally and organically. And then it's like it's just great. And then if something doesn't work out well, it doesn't work out. You just switch and do the next one, but maybe have your full-time job going in the background, and that's the easiest way to do it. Oh, and the other way to do it is to rope in all your friends and family to work for you for free, because that's how we got kind of far in the beginning. Because I'd rope in my parents, I'd rope in my friends, and they're not doing anything on the weekends anyway. They might as well come and help me. so I used to have them come and help me pot and sauce, and they come and sit on the market stalls with me or whatever. I think people have always been like positive about it. And I think that's because I think if you're positive and really enthusiastic about it, about what you're doing, and it's a true thing, I think people feed off it and they can recognize it. And we always say real recognize real. And, we've got a lot of people that, are on Team Tubby. Do you know what I mean? They've always backed it. And I think if you've got something special, you just go for it. Just try it. And then, what's the worst that can happen?
We've got a question from Pete, and he says, Tom,
Yeah.
You've got a brilliant story, and clearly you've worked really closely with Georgia and Nikki. What else could we at Mid Counties do to help your business?
Oh, I don't know. You're already doing loads. We already have big orders to fulfill. I don't know. Really. I to be honest with you, unless you've got any ideas, I think it's going really well, because we had a first lot of products that Georgia took, and then we've had product reviews since, haven't we? And then we've put even more products in that seem to be doing really well, and it seems that whatever you kind of choose seems to go. I think it's great. I suppose the other thing is it would be good to push the boundaries of what stores we're in. But I mean, I can't complain. I think it's really busy as it is.
Nikki, you got a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously, with regards to George's point, with coming into stores when safe to do so, and that will really help. Yeah, get more customers engaged, working with the chefs, which I know is a question that Matt Windridge has raised as well, bringing you in there and just bringing it to life and collaborating with more of our suppliers, isn't it? So
that would be cool.
So good at.
I love collabs because I think it gives something much more clout, and it makes something much more real if it's two people working together, on something, and people love that kind of thing, don't they?
Absolutely.
We've got another question. Would you consider having a young entrepreneur work shadowing you?
Yeah. I think so. It's something we've been looking at, actually. I know there's a few schemes going around, but I think what I'm interested in the future, and we've spoken about this before, is what we can do to get the younger generations, a bit like you were touching on a minute ago, or what I was rambling on about how to do a business, or my advice. But, it is to try and inspire younger people to do it, because you can shape your own future. I think one of the points we touched on before was when I was at school and through uni and stuff, you're put on a path that says you need to do things this way. You need to not have tattoos. You're never going to have a business if you shave your head or you get a gold tooth or something. It's very it's really restrictive when you're growing up and you're going through these streams. And then you realize the older you get and the more you push, you're just like, hang on, this is this has been great the way that we were doing it. And I don't know. It'd be good to get more young people coming up with original things and getting passionate about food, especially because, as we were saying, Gloucestershire is an amazing place for small producers of food products. And it'd be great to see more of that, more young people taking up these things, more young people selling at the farmers market. I mean, a lot of people have been there for years and years and years, and it's great. They're really good at it. But it'd be great to see people bringing new ideas to the table, changing the shape of food.
We've got a question from Rupert, and he said, great story, Tom. How long does it take from having an idea through to a source to being ready to sell?
A day, because I made it on one day, came up with the name of it that evening, and then took it to the farm shop the next day. Snuck it on the shelf. That's the thing. It really doesn't take that much time to do it. If you know what you're doing and it's something that you've been doing you know, it doesn't take very long at all. And then it's about following it through after that. The lucky thing with us is that it happened quickly it has happened in stages because there's so many levels of business, isn't there? So it's very different me making one batch of sauce and taking it to one shop and that selling, and then making a little bit more, going back to the shop and selling. So what we do now, when we supply, you know, over 100, you know, different wholesale customers, we've got, you know, all of these online orders and all this kind of thing. It's a very, very different business. So I guess if in that sense, it does take a long time. It takes a long time to refine a product to the point where you're really happy with it, because it's, you know, I've been doing this for 5, 6, probably going on 7 years really now. And I'm only just really happy with the products and how they look. And we're still tweaking stuff all the time. But I guess it's an ongoing process. But for us to get it into store, you just do your homework. Google is your best friend, and it's even better these days. 7 years on, you can find everything you want to know about starting a business and everything about, contacting your local health authority to check that all your food's safe. You know, it's really easy to do. And it wouldn't take long. If you had an idea, you could really research it in an evening, have the product, make the product the next day, and just go off with it. You could do it that quickly. It's a cool thing.
Fantastic. Matthew Lane has said, I love your sauces, Tom. Hugely inspiring story too. What do you have on your to-do list in the quest for Tubby Tom's world domination?
It is world domination. Yeah, I'm glad you say that, because that's what goes through my mind every day. It's just world domination, world domination. I'd really like to send the stuff abroad again, because it's become really difficult to export our products now to Europe. It's really expensive to export our products to America, and we had great relationships with outlets we had a great place in Bordeaux in France. We got a great place in Latvia that we used to send sauce to, but we can't send it to them now. So I think in terms of world domination, I just want to be able to send stuff much more easy to European countries to America. And I'm sure it's going to happen, because they need the world's best hot sauce. So they're going to make it easy for us at some point. But I'd really, really, really like to explore exporting. Because I love supplying everywhere in the UK. It's great, and we're local. It's cool, but we send some stuff online. So as an American consumer can go onto my website, order a bottle of sauce, it gets sent, and we can get it to them now, which is amazing. We sent some stuff to Kentucky the other day. I did a swap with someone that makes scented candles, and it was awesome. To send the sauce all that way. And for that person to be enjoying it, it's nuts. But I guess just pushing the brand, pushing it to be, the max that we can make it in the UK as well. It's just building it, and it's just so exciting. I am rambling again. But yeah, thanks. I'm glad you like the stuff, by the way.
Nikki?
Yeah, just actually back to Pete's question, and something that I'd forgotten, Tom, is that when I first met you, we worked on a project with the University of Gloucestershire, the Make It project, didn't we? Yeah, where we actually took the students from the business school and we linked them with small producers, and that's when you were part of Kitchen Garden and obviously setting up Tubby Tom's there. And to me, that was one of the proudest things, certainly, that I've ever been part of, because actually we were able to give the students the real life experience. They were getting real business to business experience, and then obviously the producers were getting free help.
I know, so it's great. I remember that really benefiting Kitchen Garden at the time, and they had students come over to their production place. We had it good because we had 3 great students working for us, and they got us a lot of customer feedback. So they did a questionnaire, and they had a good bank of people to send it to based off our website and some other sources as well. And we got some really good information through it. And it was great because all 3 students that I had were so passionate about business. And it was so great to see, because they absolutely loved to see what we were doing, which was really cool. And, they're people that are, trained to do this kind of stuff. I didn't study business. I didn't study any of that kind of thing. They're on the ball with that kind of thing. And if they like what we're doing, I think it's a really cool place to be. And that was, I guess, with Growth Hub 2, it was really good. I really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, that's good. I'd forgotten about that, you see. That's my old age again.
We've got a question off Matt Windridge. It's been great to hear from you today. Really passionate and some amazing products. Your sauces fit so well with many of our local suppliers. Have you ever considered working with another local supplier to create a multi-buy deal, or even a new product consisting of both?
Interesting. Yes, I have. So we did actually, a long time ago, we used to use one of Hillside Brewery's beer in one of our sauces, which was really good. And we did it, it was called Smoky Maple Barbecue, which we used one of their dark ales in. Since then, we did that as a limited edition, which sold really well. And then since then, my brother's got a brewery, and so we use his beer in that one now. But it was very good with Hillside's beer in it. And the other person is Gloucester Biltong, because his stuff is the best biltong I've ever tried. But he also sometimes makes a barbecue version of using our sauce, and that is special. But yeah, and those three things go really well, don't they? Beer and biltong and hot sauce or barbecue sauce. That's a good Father's Day gift right there.
Excellent. We've got one from Luke Blakey, and Luke says Mid-Counties has a business alliance through which it owns manages food lorries via a national co-op that does 70% of the produce in store. You are a local independent, so that's a different, more bespoke proposition from factory to fork than Mid-Counties does itself. How does this work for you? Is it the world-class logistic we think it is?
Great question. Yeah, thing is, we supply Mid-Counties through a distributor now. We used to supply direct to store, and I was so excited when we first got the listing. I used to load up. I got a Renault Scenic, an old banger Renault Scenic, and ripped all the seats out the back. And I used to chuck all the stuff in and take it to all the stores and go and deliver it myself, which was good fun. and then when we got a bit busy, I thought, well, we better start sending it through a distributor. So we do send it through a distributor now, and it's a very easy process. I think the ordering is even better now these days as well. And to me, it's getting better and better. It was good in the beginning, but it's second nature now. What's cool for us is that we're a small business supplying a huge operation here. And so it was a great learning curve in terms of, what we have to have in place for you guys to stock us. Once a year on top of regular EHO. We have an enhanced HACCP plan, which means, everything that we make is super, super clean, and you can trace back every single grain of garlic powder back through all of our products. And these processes were accelerated by supplying Mid-Counties. So as a small independent producer, it's been great because we've been able to really benefit from it and make money, because we supply a fair amount of stuff to the co-op stores now, and it definitely keeps us busy. We had an order in today, which we're going to try and smash out as soon as we can this week. But it's all positive things, really.
Okay, we've got another question saying, what is your most favourite product that you sell, and what's the most challenging aspect when developing and bringing a new product to the market?
So my favourite product changes pretty much every day, because when you've made the same product for like 7 years, sometimes you get a little bit over it, but then it never lasts for long, because it goes through cycles. So if I've made loads of barbecue sauce this week, I won't be eating barbecue sauce on the weekend. But if I don't make barbecue sauce this week, this weekend I'm having shed loads of barbecue sauce. And we do so many different products now that it just interchanges. One of my favorite ones is Dragon Salt, which is our Chinese style salt and pepper seasoning. It's influenced on the takeaway special. And it's one that people go mad about because it's just a really tasty blend of 5 spices broken down. And I color it with charcoal, coconut charcoal, so it looks amazing. It looks really cool. Loads of chilies in it, lots of like cinnamon, and it's just so tasty. But the great thing with it is you can add it to stir fries, you can add it to fried rice, which both of those I eat a lot at home. We really like that kind of thing. It's great on chips, really good with fried chicken if you dust it on crispy fried chicken. And it's one that people try and instantly they absolutely love. I think a tricky thing with coming up with new stuff is really whether people are going to buy it, because as you can probably tell, I love food, but that doesn't always mean that what I like everyone else is going to like. We've been pretty lucky so far because I'd say 99% of our products sell well enough for us to keep going with them. But there are some that I think are going to be a huge hit and end up not selling as much as, you know, our current range or whatever it's going to be. So, and that's weird to like then think, okay, where did we go wrong with this one? Or like, is it the right market for this kind of thing? Or, you know, is it the price, or is it this, that, and the other? You never really know. Maybe I have to get back in contact with the university and see if they can get another feedback thing sorted out. But yeah, it's the unknown of whether something's really going to sell, as well as what you're already doing, and whether to spend the time and effort doing it. But I think it's always worth it because you learn from it either way.
We've got some great feedback, Tom. Lizzie has said, great to hear your inspiring story. As someone who went to Hartpury, is it Hartpury, and who still lives locally, it's wonderful to see your success. And then Luke has said, excuse me, love the level of confidence your efforts and experimentation has yielded. Great to hear. Great stuff.
Good. That's good. Yeah, good.
We've got a question from Pete. Love that build, Nikki, in terms of students working with Kitchen Garden. Be great to reinvent and build on that in the future. And Adam Quinton has put, hi, Tom. Would you consider making larger packs for our in-store butchery counters to use in our in-house made barbecue packs?
Yes, please. I definitely want to do that. It's something that works really, really, really well for us. So the cross-selling is amazing, because as soon as people taste the sauce, they really, really like it, and they'll always be back to buy it. So if they try it on your butcher's counter, you know, like the marinated chicken is a really, really easy one, a good one. You know, we do so many different dustings, some sauces and things. We do 2.6 liter jerry cans of the sauces. We do kilo bags of everything, of the seasonings, and it works really well for butchers. I'd love to do that. Pre-marinated ribs, pork chops, the chicken, like I say, is the best one. Boneless, skinless chicken thighs work well, because when it's marinated, all you got to do is slap it on the grill, the flame grill, and it's just the best thing. Also, our sauces and seasonings work really well in sausage mixes, so you can make flavored sausage. So we do a bacon dust powder. You can put that into sausage mix and make a smoky bacon style sausage, or you could make a ghost chili one, which is people always go mad for. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, sounds good.
Matt Lane has asked, are there any up and coming brands you know of locally that we should have on our radar? And what is your brother's brewery called?
Yeah, it's good. Have I got any bottles here? I don't think I do. Basically, my brother has a brewery down in well, it was in Mitcheldean, but it's now in Littledean, so it's in the Forest of Dean. Really cool little brewery, very, very small scale, but they you know, supply quite a few places. They make the old world kind of like ales and all the stuff like that, but they're venturing into more like American pale ales and newer stuff as well. So they're branching out a bit, but they've just made a new brewery from scratch. They've converted a barn for it, and it's so cool. It's called Bespoke Brewery, by the way. I should have probably said that. Bespoke Brewery is the one. Who else do I like? Oh, Hetty's Kitchen. Hetty's Kitchen is the best. She does the best brownies possible. They're made right in the middle of Gloucester at the Match Factory, and her motto is, you know, it's always like gooey, never cakey, and it's just that's the best brownies. Yeah, there's loads of play. Oh, a really good one, Cotswold Cura, locally made. You're in the process of Cotswold Cura. He does locally made cured meats, Italian and French inspired. Even does ones with wild boar, which is pretty special. Absolutely love that stuff. My mind's gone blank for other ones, but I'm friends with so many local producers. I kick myself afterwards, but yeah, there's some really cool things.
And Pranil has asked, will you be incorporating more Asian or Jamaican influences in your future products?
I'd love that. I would love that. I need to find out more about it though. But I absolutely love that kind of thing. 100% yes. It's huge influences on me, that style of cooking, both styles. Yeah, I need to know more about it, and it'd be cool. It'd be cool to do some collaborations on that kind of stuff. I did think it would be cool to do some collab stuff, and bring in some influences, and make something cool. That would be great. I love that kind of thing.
So Phil has said you are a brilliant example of why we want to help inspirational people make a success of their passion.
Thank you very much. It's such a nice thing because everyone's been so nice to me. Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's great what you're doing. We get so much clout from supplying Mid-Counties Co-op. People can't believe it because they go into their local store, see our stuff in the supermarket shelf, and they're just like, it blows their mind. They're just like, how does this happen? And it's just such a cool thing. I remember the first day, I was like, I want to tell everyone about this. Like, I want everyone. I'll go into like co-op stores just to see it on the shelves and stuff, and it's just the coolest thing. So I appreciate you guys supporting me.
And what would you say is one of the greatest greatest achievements of your life so far?
Well, I've got a son. He's probably the best achievement. He's just coming up for 15 months old. Juggling a small business and a young son is pretty hectic. It's amazing. And I think, I think one of the coolest things is that my family and friends are still around and they still come and help me on weekends or days off or whatever it is. My mum's been working with me now for, loads of years now. She quit her job and then I employed her here, and she's, helped me push the business so far. And I'm grateful for her still hanging around and putting up with my, annoying ways, I guess, how to put it. I think my proudest achievement is just the whole thing. When you're in it, you don't think about it, but it's things like this, when we're talking about it, you remind yourself about where you've come from and how you're doing it. At the time, every day we're just straight in, cracking on with the sauces, fixing the orders, sending them out, and go home. And exhausted, come back, do this, and you get into a cycle of just doing this thing. And you sometimes you just got to look up and say and have a look. And people are so positive about what we do, and it's just the best. It's honestly the best. I can't describe it without sounding a bit of a loser, but it's just the coolest thing.
Nikki?
Yeah, and I just want to add, Tom, that what makes me really proud as well is that when I was in our Long Leven store last week, and some of the students from Tommy's were in there, and and they were pointing at your sources there. Tom, the school that Tom went to is literally, isn't it? It's a stone's throw away. Yeah. And they're like, he went to our school. He went to our school. So that just says it all, isn't it?
Oh,
that's why you're here. That's why we wanted you to be part of this. So
that's so cool. I love stuff like that. I went to IKEA on the weekend, and it was so busy, and there was a person there, and he had his son there, and his son was like a fan of the sauces and stuff, which I think is a really cool thing. It's kind of crazy, but it's a cool thing. And the kid was like, oh, do you want to ask me something? And he said, oh, do you really have a gold tooth? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I got my gold tooth out and showed these people in the middle of IKEA there where I got recognized. And it's just a really, really funny, it's just a funny thing. But yeah, it feels like very low-key Z-list celebrity status.
That's great, Tom. Tom, has anyone got any more questions for Tom? Because the hour has gone so quickly. Just want to thank you, Tom, for taking the time to come and talk to us today, because you've absolutely blown us away with your inspirational story and your passion for what you do and believing in yourself and how far that you've come. And also thanks to the Best of Our Counties team as well, that, look to identify these suppliers and to work with them and bringing it back to local. So it's just such a great story. So thank you. And thank you all that have put questions to Tom tonight, which have been great questions with some fantastic responses. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your kind words and for coming to listen to me talk as well. It's really, really nice.
So I'm just going to say thank you again. And finally, don't forget to register for our AGM on Thursday, the 13th of May, by scanning the QR code or visiting the link on the screen now. We've also been nominated for leading Co-op of the Year. So if you want to vote for the work we've been doing, you can do that on the webpage. And before we leave, I'm just going to play a short video by our president.
Hello, I'm Helen Wiseman, Society President, and I'd like to thank you for joining us for this session today. I hope that you found it both interesting and informative. This is part of our ongoing commitment to get members more involved and listening to their views on the society that they own. I'm delighted to tell you that we've been nominated as Leading Co-op of the Year, and you can find out more about how to vote in this award at the end of the video. And finally, I look forward to our AGM on the 13th of May. I hope that you can join us, take part and vote on issues that matter and find out how we are driving the success of your society, supporting our communities and working towards a better, fairer world. Thank you.
Hi, I forgot I was talking away then, I was on mute. Just want to say thank you, Nikki and the team, and for Tom for having the time to spend with us tonight. Thank you for all your questions, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Marnie, and thank you, Tom, as well. Yeah, it was brilliant, and James. Yeah.
Thank you.